Continuing coverage of the Letecia Stauch murder case. She's accused, of course, of killing her 11-year-old stepson Gannon a year ago. Now, in a bizarre twist, as we reported, she has decided now to defend herself in court. And that's where our COLETTE BORDELON saw her earlier today. And that decision has now caused delays in the legal process. COLETTE?
Preliminary hearings were scheduled for next week. Those have been pushed to late May because it's going to take some time to get Stauch all of that evidence into the jail. Now, historically, self-representation for defendants just doesn't go well.
If you represent yourself, you have a fool for a lawyer.
An old saying.
It's teetering on becoming a circus.
The woman accused of killing her stepson, Gannon Stauch.
We're all skeptical that she actually has any evidence that will, quote unquote, clear her name.
Letecia Stauch will be acting as her own attorney while she's charged with first-degree murder.
It's a terrible option, regardless of the crime. It amplifies itself with the severity of the crime.
But it's her right to try and review all of the evidence, learn how to build a foundation for her case, and cross-examine all of the witnesses.
Just imagine having to sit there and be questioned in an adverse manner by the person accused of murdering your son.
And what's always one of the biggest questions when you get to a trial, will the defendant take the stand?
That moment in trial may be the moment where, the final nail's put in her coffin.
The serial killer Ted Bundy took the stand in his own murder trial. He represented himself too.
If you'll recall, Bundy went to law school.
Bundy ultimately convicted and sentenced to death in Florida.
A sociopath isn't someone that you can just peg as, hey, that person's a sociopath. They're generally charismatic, relatable, make people feel good when they're around them. And I think Ted Bundy, to an extent, obviously had all those qualities. And I don't think in this case you really see that.
As for the Stauch case, lead prosecutor and district attorney Michael Allen hasn't called this a win for the people himself.
He's going to drive this thing home in a big way.
While Stauch starts to build her own case from inside a jail cell. DA Michael Allen said that Stauch is a flight risk who's tried to break windows while in the jail. Now, Stauch scoffed at that. The judge did order that the prosecution print off their evidence and get it to Stauch in the jail. The core of the case is around 1,800 pages, but there's over 26,000 pages of evidence. All of the details of today's status conference can be found on my Twitter. Always watching out for you, Colorado Springs. COLETTE BORDELON, News 5.